Now listen to this. News broke yesterday of this secret deal signed by the Andrews government to give an Aboriginal group the right to rename all the roads, bridges, public spaces, to co-manage waterways, biosecurity, to also gain preferential access to council procurement contracts and jobs across 10 Victorian councils. Now, a lot of councils across Victoria implicated here have grave concerns about what this policy actually means and the fact that they have not been consulted. Joining me is one of these representatives, West Wimmera Shire Councillor Tim Meyer. Tim, welcome to the program. What can you tell us about this policy? How much do you know? I mentioned there you haven't been consulted. Is that right? And how's your local community reacted?
We believe that this agreement was signed back in September, and the state government has the right to do these agreements. They have the legislation. The legislation's existed for 13 years. So the fact that the agreement's been made isn't a shock. It's what's actually in the agreement that has shocked us. It contains 39 different actions, and a lot of those actions have a cost attached to it. And then towards the end of it, it says council must fund all this through provisions of their own revenue. So that's sort of a bit of a concern for us. But in the community itself, a lot of people aren't really across it and aware of it. When they sort of read it, their first reaction is this going to be like in WA? And, well, we're not really sure how it's all going to play out just yet.
So what sort of consultation has any council? I mean, I presume you've spoken to anyone else impacted as well. I mean, how much did you know before the secret news got out?
No, look, we've had very little knowledge of this until only the best part of 2 months ago, I would say, and even then, other councils I know haven't even seen it. It's all been about whether you just sort of have the right CEO who's transparent and open and letting people know what's happening, and we've been fortunate, but there was definitely no consultation at all. We would have liked to have been part of that process. We are willing to work with the land councils. We're quite happy to, but just to have this thrown on our lap and say, well, you sort it out now, it's going to be a challenge.
What's interesting, I grew up in Witchyproof, not far from you. It's had an Aboriginal name since the 1850s, 1860s. I mean, these are not communities that haven't had a close relationship to local Aboriginal groups for many years, right? So how do you react to this idea that you now have to preference Aboriginal contracts, preference Aboriginal applicants for jobs rather than the best candidate?
Look, we're going to have to go and look at our procurement policy and work out how this is going to work. We're hearing rumours that they're going to have a first right of refusal, and that's concerning. Whether they can just come in and say we're doing the job at any price and things like that. But these things have got to play out, and we've got to work it out a bit. But like you say, with the naming roads and all that, we're not adverse. Like you say, half our towns and roads do have Aboriginal names, and we're happy with, we like it. But taking away that option of being able to recognise someone or a landmark or an event and name it something for that, it's taking that out of the local community's hands. It's that's going to create a bit of a backlash.